Hey YouTube, this is Red for the Gear, and this video is to discuss the events of 22nd of October 2014 and some things you can do or that maybe you should think of. I was caught in the security cordon, and the events have even made me rethink my plan, and I had a plan in place for these types of scenarios. I think the first thing you should look at is your communication plan. Do you have a way to get a hold of family, friends, child care providers, to let them know that you're okay, right? Methods include telephone, email, text, and social media. Now, one thing to be said about telephone and text, during Tuesday's events, there was actually a lot of burden put on the cell phone towers, causing texts to take time to get out. And I assume that also affected the using the telephones. And another note, if you're going to use social media, don't use something that's public, right? Private message people to let them know you're okay. This demonstrated the need to know your community. I was caught, and as I said, I was caught in the security cordon. So was my wife, and we weren't able to get home to be with our children. Because we've gotten to know our neighbors, we have friends, and we've discussed things with our child care provider. We have a safety net in place. Because of the events, we were able to rely on friends and neighbors to look after our children and make sure they were safe, giving them a place to go and keeping them not unaware of the news, but not letting them see what was unfolding in the news, to give us time to discuss what happened with them. Okay? If you don't take time to build a community, right, you don't have that safety net that will alleviate the stress of not being able to get to your children in this highly stressful time, not being able to be sure of their safety, and has the potential of you to not, if something worse happens, like the destruction of property due to a tornado or anything like that, to know where to start looking for them. This demonstrates the need for, to have a contingency plan. It was a perfect example of why we need to take time to think about what our courses of action are going to be. Does your family know what to do if they can't communicate with you when something happens? Right? Do they know where they can go to be safe? If traffic becomes a problem, do you have an alternate means to get home? Do you have another route planned? Can you walk home? Can you use public transit? Right? How is that going to affect your ability to get home? I was really dismayed by the number of people who, in this lockdown scenario, were unprepared. It absolutely stunned me, considering where I do work, that nobody had any food, medicine, a change of clothes, or toiletries to deal with a stay-in-place situation. And towards the end of it, a contingency plan was discussed. Of course, this was 6 hours after the incident, which in my opinion is far too long. If you're waiting for 6 hours after an incident to start discussing what's going to happen, you've already failed. Your contingency plan has failed. I personally do keep food and any medications I require in my desk. That's just me personally. Food doesn't have to be fancy, but it has to be more than just jujubes and peanuts. I keep a can of ready-to-eat soup in my desk, and I have a method to heat that. Okay. I did not consider that there's a possibility I could have to stay in place for more than 24 hours. So I need to review that and get a change of clothes and toiletries so I can not come out looking like or smelling like a caveman. And water. If you're concerned about there being a lack of water, then yes, have water at your desk. Where we are, there's an overabundance of water, and there was no concern for this situation. And review your contingency plan after an event. You can review it all the way you want, worst case scenario, whatever, but until you put it into effect, you can't really proof it. After you do that, take time to review it. Try to be as unemotional as possible. Review the events as they happened. Review your good points that you can use as your staple. Review the points where you fall short, and then come up with a plan to improve them and be ready for next time. In closing, I'd like to make 2 points. Our sincerest and heartfelt prayers and condolences for the family of Corporal Nathan Cirillo, the soldier killed at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And to point out that we as Canadians, we will not let ourselves run in terror. We cannot let ourselves cower in fear. And we can never pander to rumors that modern media will cause to propagate to sensationalize the event for their profit and gain. We are Canadian. Events like this demonstrate why it is important we hold our values near and dear. And remember always, the Maple Leaf forever.